Hey everyone, this is Connor here at the Game House, and I'm here today because the College Football 26 reveal is here. You can hear it in the background, and it is beautiful. The game is coming out in July, like we know about, and this trailer has a lot of really cool things in it. This shot being one of my absolute favorites, where we see the Road to Glory player running out of the field for the first time. This new immersive look where we're seeing a high school stadium running out with your coach. I don't know why they used Bags and Gross there for names. Pretty funny, but still. This trailer has a lot, especially if you're a Road to Glory fan, especially if you're a fan of the pageantry of this game. There's a lot to like in this trailer. But I don't want to focus as much on what you all are seeing today, because I'm guessing everyone watching this video has watched this. It's awesome. But I want to talk a little bit today about what we are not seeing in this trailer and in the developer update in the Campus Huddle blog. Because I think that what we haven't seen yet is a little bit more significant than what we have seen. So I do want to kind of watch the rest of the trailer though first, give everyone who hasn't had a chance to see it. We see some great gameplay, some new traditions, obviously all the night game stuff we saw earlier. We saw several new coaches. If you want to know all the coaches that were confirmed, we've got an article up on the Game House website. I'll include a link to that as well. Some more defensive play there. Just a lot more gameplay here. The home field advantage looks like it's going to get ramped up quite a bit. And Enter Sandman is pretty hype. Not gonna lie, you see some coaches there. Gameplay looks like it's gonna be similar to 25, maybe with a few touch-ups, and there you have it. Then we've also got this developer update here that I think is pretty worth shouting out. This is really the meat and potatoes of what we got today. So we have the gameplay changes. We have over 300 real-world coaches, wear and tear. I'll include a link to this in the description as well. Everyone can hop in and watch this. But even in this, I think we're still missing a lot. And I want fans to understand kind of why we're missing those things and what to still expect from College Football 26. So we'll kind of go... Let's start actually with game modes, because Dynasty is one of the biggest things that... This is a pretty short paragraph for Dynasty. And I think fans of this game, a lot of fans really do just play this game for the Dynasty mode, to be in long-standing dynasties with friends. And we get one big thing here. We get cross-play across Xbox Series S and PlayStation 5. That is a huge, huge addition. Another little addition they snuck in that I think is actually pretty significant is formation subs and protected opponents settings. So it's kind of funny to me that they included that, because that's such a small aside kind of tidbit thing to include. And we're going to have some other things, land critical talent for your team by managing your new dynamic deal breakers and traits while trying to retain your favorite playmakers and cement your program's legacy. Location-based visits. There's a new expanded and more unpredictable transfer portal. Now, in this, though, in Dynasty, what I don't think we're seeing, and I think is important to point out, is there is no mention of anything related to NIL in this post, or in the video, or in anything else. Now, I think that is the thing that if we're talking about what fans would most want added to the game, I think NIL is the top of a lot of people's lists, just because that is the landscape of college football right now. NIL is a huge part, huge factor in dictating where players go, where coaches go. I had theorized some ideas in some previous articles on the site where, what if there were coaches that were connected to players? It's very common now for a head coach or a program to go after an offensive coordinator because they're tied to a quarterback and they really want the quarterback, so they'll go for both. Think University of Oklahoma with John Mateer, this year with Dylan Gabriel previously. Other schools do this as well. And no mention of that. I will say, to developers' credit, this is just the reveal trailer. So we're not going to get all those things. This is not in any way meant as a slight against developers. Like, oh, why haven't we heard this? Like, it's not like that. But we haven't heard of it because the Dynasty deep dive is coming. We have not gotten that yet, and that is something that when they release it, we'll have all the details about Dynasty mode. So be sure to stay tuned here on the site for that, and on this YouTube channel, we'll be covering that as well. But yeah, nothing about NIL. And really, just with Dynasty in general, we don't get a lot of details in this. It's a little disappointing because they did show some details for some other things, but I think this was meant as kind of the hook to get people interested. And one of the best ways to hook people was with all of the Road to Glory information they gave. So this, I think, is where we get a lot of the, we actually get some substance and some shots of what we're expecting here. Obviously we got the hat selection being a really key addition. We have the player running out, the kind of the first person perspective, or I guess it's third person, running out into the field with your team in high school. So we get high school added to this as well. We have 10 new archetypes being added. We can now commit early and decommit. The recruiting process sounds like it's going to be a lot more involved in general. And that's also because there actually is a recruiting process in this game. Whereas in 25, you just chose what college you're playing for and you kind of arrive in your dorm as a freshman. Even in this, though, I really like what we have seen from Road to Glory. There's been no mention here of like a Road to Glory deep dive, so I'm not sure that we'll get one. But I was really hoping for at least like a teaser shot of some kind of like on-campus social space reminiscent of 2K. I'm definitely not asking for this game to be like 2K. And I think 2K players will understand that this is not a game that I want to be like that. However, something to make Road to Glory a bit more immersive, I think, is good. Now, they're doing that with the hat selection, with the addition of high school. You're going to feel more immersed as your player. But at the end of the day, the mode still does get pretty monotonous when it's just play game, minor interaction, play game, rinse and repeat for 4 years of being there. It can get old. I think some kind of interactive space would be really huge for that. Just some ability to kind of widen the mode a little bit more. That's something that I would have liked to have seen. Even just something pointing towards anything like that. It could be a generic campus quad space that they make that everyone uses. It could be a dorm room like one of the old, I think NCAA 14 or one of the older ones had an actual dorm room space that you could interact with, at least to a small degree. But something there would have been nice. And then obviously you get some details about Ultimate Team, Road to the College Football Playoff, and Team Builder. Seems like Team Builder will kind of seamlessly integrate from last year. The one thing I will say here is I really was hoping for an in-game Team Builder option, and it does not seem like we're going to get that. I understand that Team Builder is a complicated mechanism, and so it makes sense to have it on a website that you kind of build then import into the game. I think it does create a small barrier to entry, though, for players. Whereas if you had it in-game, even just like a more simplistic version, I think a lot more people would interact with Team Builder in College Football 26. But regardless, still something that we're not going to be getting in this game. But Team Builder will still exist, which is nice. We can scroll back up here now and look at gameplay. This is where I feel like, we haven't gotten necessarily a lot of details about the gameplay changes, but I do think we're going to have them. We have a lot more marching bands. We have Enter Sandman, 160 new school-specific chants, new mascots, and band music. And I love that this is a really funny line. We know how much people love drum lines from the menu last year. We are going to change it up for College Football 26. I think everyone can confirm that the drum lines drove them crazy in College Football 25. I was hearing them in my sleep a little bit too much. So we've got marching band covers. We've got fight songs. This is what I think everyone wanted. But still, this is going to be where we get a lot of our information, though. This is the presentation deep dive campus Huddle article. It's a mouthful. That's going to be coming later this summer. That's where we're going to get a lot more about the presentation and kind of the pageantry of the game, I assume. So that's that's if I'm including more things that we are not seeing. It's more just about the kind of presentation of the game, for lack of better words. So what are we going to actually be seeing? What are we going to be hearing, etc.? We get a little bit of it in the reveal. Obviously, we see a little bit, but not everything. But overall, this is all the information we have on the game so far. Again, today was meant as purely a reveal trailer, so it's not going to have everything, and there's going to be more of these deep dives. We've got, obviously, the gameplay deep dive coming. We've got the presentation deep dive, Dynasty deep dive. This is pretty reminiscent of what they did with 25, where we're kind of getting an overall kind of here's what to generally expect now, but we're going to get a lot more details coming. With gameplay, for example, we're going to get, obviously, the camera shake. I already mentioned some of this stuff here, but I'll be interested to see what other gameplay changes they're going to make for 26. I think in 25, like a lot of players got frustrated with interceptions, a few of the cheese plays that kind of became prevalent in that game. Hopefully some of that's being at least changed here at some level. But I think more importantly is just going to be how is the physics of the game updated. They mentioned some things in this where there's going to be a new physics-based tackling system. There's just going to be some updates like that, in more intense camera shake, heads-up display visuals, clock distortion, a lot of things to make home field advantage more intense. And so there are more things coming, wear and tear being another one. But again, still a few things that I feel like we are not seeing in this that I'm hoping we do see. Let me know in the comments what you didn't see that you're excited about and what you think of this news in general. All in all, I'm still very hyped for this game. 25 was just this amazing return to the franchise after a 10-year break, and I really hope that the momentum can continue to move forward with 26. I personally think it will. My hope rather is that EA doesn't get into its normal kind of funk where it's just a rinse and repeat release of more or less the same game every year. I don't think that is going to be necessarily the direction that college football goes. It feels like it's almost a little bit siloed from some of the other EA Sports titles, but at the end of the day, time will tell. But thanks everyone for tuning in. From our house to yours, we'll see you all next time for another College Football 26 video here at the Game House.